The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And I was like, yes, hi. I was so excited.
Oh, we get high. Let me get high again.
Okay, hi.
A guy get to a point and he asks you to marry him, he really wants to marry you.
Mm-hmm. He ready.
Like he really feels like, you know what, she's the one. She's the one.
You already getting the goods. You got to pay for it. Bring me the ring and get on one knee.
Okay.
Or two.
You need time to observe someone and really get a sense of how well do they treat you, how well do they handle adversity.
You're not the one because you don't have grit, the perseverance. You ain't really want me because you ready to give up. Because I said no. Nah, you shouldn't have asked. But since I said no, now it's your job to stay in the game and try to fight for it.
Boy, on 5 Heartbeats, so you make the announcement we're going solo at the awards ceremony.
What up, what up, what up? And welcome to The One Eye Shut, the podcast about many topics from the perspective of 3 married couples. You can listen to us at defylifepods.com, Spotify, iTunes, or any of the other popular podcast platforms out there. Welcome back, y'all. Happy Hump Day. Happy One Eye Shut Day. Happy Good to Be Alive Day. All of that shit. We glad you came back to listen to us once again. We are again tonight, unfortunately, missing 1/3 of the crew. Thomas and Keita and their family are still under the weather, and so we're sending them positive energy. We know they're going to be listening to us and probably commenting as they're listening to the show, you know, kind of how you yell at the TV, the characters in the TV to do this, say this, whatever. So they'll probably be doing that, but that's all right. Hopefully next week they will be back. All right, so I think we're going to start. I think we started with Al last time. So let's go over to the other Glymph couple and let them start us off with their word of the day. What you got, Ladine? You was hollering it nice and loud when we were on the pre-show. So go ahead and tell the people how you feeling tonight.
I told you I ain't had nothing. That's what I was saying, but I got something.
I thought you had something because you was like, I'm tired. I thought that was going to be your word of the day.
No, so I got something. So I have had to, I'm going to use creative as my word of the day because I've had to be incredibly creative in different endeavors that have come across Ladine's path lately, and I am so excited because I can't even explain how I think I've always been a creative human being since I was younger, but there's just a piece of me, I think, between motherhood, between stress, between, marriage, just between adulting. I've come away from my creativity. I haven't really explored it. I haven't really even, I don't know. I guess just really explored it at all. So yeah, I'm going to say creative or creativity or whatever, perspective however you want to say the word. But definitely coming more into that. Or just realizing that I still got it, it's still there. I got it still, so it didn't go anywhere,
baby. That's
right.
I
think the only creativity I've come across is, since being a mother and a wife and all that, has probably just been cooking, and in the kitchen with baking and stuff, but not really like, digging down deep to just find things. So yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Creative. Love it. Okay. JR, what about you?
I'm always proud during moments of like incremental growth of the network. So we got a couple shows that are due to start new in the network, and so nice. I'll say proud, especially when it's new demographics that are being filled, and
Okay.
we're always looking for, for shows to have their own lane. So more female voices and Latino voices, so things like that. So we got a couple new shows set to start soon on the network, and I'm proud.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Like that.
Go to Five Life. Yeah.
Go to Five Live. That's
All right.
what's up.
That's what we do.
No doubt.
All right, Al, where you at tonight?
My word is advanced with the D. So,
I cannot.
yes, you can. You know you can. So, my word is advanced because, and it's a great segue. I feel like it's well timed, my word, coming after the creativity, the progress, and the pride that we have in the growth and development of Defy Life. And I think that's the word in how we approach and how we show up. It's about trying to advance our dreams, our goals. And that's just where I'm at. And I had a real interesting conversation today about how often people of color live an experience of dream deferred. And so I really wanted to think, what's the opposite of deferred? And the best word I can come up with is advanced. And I think one of the dope things about our podcast, about this network, is about we're all about trying to advance the culture, a perspective, our careers, our health. It's love. It's all about trying to move forward and not put it aside or wait. And I'm just throwing that out there because that's where we are as a folk. We advanced. That's my word with a D.
Damn right.
And
With the D.
Quick shameless plug. I be plugging as much as I can when I can. Shout out to Soul Vision magazine,
Yes.
right, for giving a brother a profile and feature, and even giving me a name as the hip hop ambassador. All right, I might run with that for a second.
All right.
And,
do it.
Right. I'm feeling that.
We already started calling you our in-house hip-hop ambassador on the other show. So
might as well run with it. The hip hop ambassador.
The resident hip-hop ambassador.
The resident hip-hop ambassador. And nice little profile. Check them out. Soul Vision magazine, and just check out your boy, because the opportunity came about from me trying to advance the project from the TV series, from the novel, and the folk at Soul Vision liked the idea, wanted to give us the project a shout out, and the best way they thought they could do it is through highlighting me and the book as we move forward with that project. I'm sorry, not move forward. As we advance, you like that? You like that? As we
With the D.
With the D. We have advanced that endeavor. And I'm done.
Nice. Kudos to you, Al, for all that you do and for your feature article in Soul Vision magazine.
Oh, and Gina, Al, you left something out, Al. Sorry. What's the name of the book? Where can people find it?
Good looking out, my brother. The name of the novel is Tourist in Your Own Town by Alvin and Gina Glymph, and it is available on Amazon.com.
Thank you very much.
You stupid.
Yes, that was my official voice. Hi, Tourist in Your Own Town, now available on Amazon.com.
Right. I was like, I didn't know we had a Donnie Simpson plug.
Hey, that's the official. When people putting money on the table, voice.
Right.
We need you to MC this event. Not a problem. Hi, my name is Alvin Glymph, and I'm the official hip hop ambassador.
So it's amazing sometimes just the synergy that people have. And so as Al pointed out, like the words are so connected, and my word, I wrote it down on my paper as you all were speaking, so I didn't forget, because sometimes with mine it don't be quite right. But my word is committed. And I chose that word because I am on this journey right now. And I just said it to Al yesterday. Like, I have never been this committed before to my health and weight. And just trying to do some different things. And so look, talking about shameless plugs, y'all, I'm down 25 pounds.
Yes.
Nice.
Like, y'all,
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm feeling good.
Looking
Um,
good.
Yes,
well,
yeah.
hey, thanks,
Hey.
babe.
But
Uh,
don't get gas. No, that was
Is
cute. That was
is
cute.
that with the D?
I cannot. Oh shit.
um, and so, just been hitting it, and it's funny.
Well, wait, don't
Damn.
say it like
Damn.
that.
All
Is
right, then
this
that's
Well,
what it
well,
was.
is
well, that
um
too, but I'm
is
just saying.
is that is that with the D?
Oh shit.
I'm just saying, and I feel like, and it's funny that you say that, Ladine, because I also said to him that I think my appetite is increasing.
Oh, that
Like, it
happens.
just, and like that might be a dangerous thing, because like it's always been consistently high, and so it's just like, you might want to watch out. But anyway, so I'm just committed. I'm committed to looking better, to feeling better, to taking control of my health, just, all that good shit. And I have been um, blessed and very grateful that I have found this level of commitment, and just going for it. And so as I think about all of you guys' words, right? The creativity, the progress, the dreams, the goals, the advancement. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Being advanced. I don't even know how to say it in this kind of, so I can add the
With
D.
the D, because
know,
you are getting advanced with the D
right?
now.
Being committed. Ladine, you committed to rediscovering your creativity and working with it. You know what I'm saying? Committed to progress, JR, with you and Defy Life, and continuing to get new shows and new demographics, and committed to the dreams and not deferring, dreams. And so, y'all, listen, we got this. We got this. And so JR on the pre-show, he's like, 2021 is no better than 2020. And while that's very true, right? But there's new levels of commitment in 2021.
Right.
And so I'll take that.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because what 2020 taught us, and we've talked about this before, is we've learned that we can strive even in the face of adversity. And when shit is thrown at us, it's up to us how we want to respond to that and continue to grow. So 2021 is no different. We continue to be responsible for our own happiness, our own growth, and our own advancements. With a D. But yeah, I'm excited for all of y'all. Congrats, Jen. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, listen. Man, by the time that family reunion come around, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is that?
Like, that's Gina high school skinny. Shit.
Right.
She was skinny in high school.
Right.
I was real skinny. But yeah, I was skinnier my first year of college. When I left high school, I was thin. I always was thin. But you know how most freshmen at 15, freshman 15? Yeah, I went the opposite way. I lost about 20 pounds my first year because, and I'm much better about it, like as far as if it's healthy stuff. But younger, I was always on this. I'm not eating no nasty shit. If it tastes nasty, I'm not eating. I'm just going to be hungry. So my freshman year, like I literally survived on Frosted Flakes and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's an adjustment.
Yeah, like this food is nasty and I'm not doing it. But the cereal bins were available in the cafeteria for every meal.
And you had just
That's
met
what I
some strapping young, some strapping young man, and you was just living off of love and shit. It was cool.
Off of love and as much pizza and wings as he could
Right.
afford.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what,
Oh, no, he as much as he could afford, he was broke.
I didn't say
Oh,
it was a lot.
that's-
I said
hey.
as much as I
Had
could
that much.
Well, connect the dots. As much
It
wing.
might have been once a week, but it was as
All
much
right.
as I could
Hey,
afford.
connect
Yeah,
the
the other
dots. As
six
much
nights.
as he can afford, and you was losing weight. So, hey, he had to be broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Whatever. All right, y'all. So tonight we are talking about friends.
Should I say
How
a
many
disclaimer
of us have them?
before
I
we
was getting ready
start?
to say, like, y'all was supposed to come in with that. You missed your cue.
How many of us have them?
And
All
I thought you had my back.
I knew Al had my back.
Oh,
All I got to say is the words and beliefs that are about to be spoken are not necessarily the words and beliefs of the Defy Life Podcast Network. If your name is...
Hey, when brothers is throwing out disclaimers before we get into the combo,
Hey.
get ready.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Jay.
This is mad funny.
Oh, my goodness.
So now that that's out the
Aight.
way, y'all have at it. Let's go.
Let's go. So, does your spouse, let's just go for the gusto, right? Your spouse got friends that you don't like?
Why you start with those?
And then, and yeah, let's just go there.
All right. Man, getting straight into it, huh?
Straight into it.
With the D. Okay. Ladine?
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, does nobody want to start?
I mean, I'll...
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll
yeah.
generally,
Okay.
generally, I'm just saying, generally, I don't have any real, no significant issues with Al's friends. And so
The question is, does your spouse have friends that, like, so you're asking, I thought the question was, do I like your friends? I thought you were answering, do I like your friends, not do you like my friends?
No, it's does she like your friends, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that question
Yeah.
if you want to, Al, but that's not what I asked.
Okay, I thought that's what you asked.
I said, does your spouse have friends that you don't like?
Okay.
He's still like,
I got you.
Don't
So
protect...
generally speaking,
Hey, it's too late to protect them niggas now, Al.
I tried.
I tried.
I don't like, any significant ways. There were some people in his life that, in the past, that I preferred him not to be friends with. They tended to be of the opposite sex. But I'm just saying.
No, right? I actually wasn't even thinking about that. So that's a good way to put. That's another perspective. I didn't even get it so different. All right.
There were a couple of people that I just you might not need to be friends with them. But yeah, his friends are decent, right? And for me, the most important thing is like whether or not those friends support our marriage. And as long as I can say that, like all the other annoying shit that they do, because they do some annoying shit, I can deal with that. And there's no one that I can say that I just don't like.
Yeah, and I like how you worded that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would agree that for the most part. I mean, you don't have any problem with my friends, and off the top of my head, there are some friends of yours that I like adore, like that are just the best, and I just love them. Like they're really, really good people. They are good for you. They support you. They support our marriage. They're supportive of me. And they know who they are. Um, and then there's some that, you know, mm, they're all right, but I don't dislike. Um, for whatever reason, we just, haven't clicked, but it ain't a dislike per se. And I'm also somebody who just doesn't just go around adding people to my circle of people I really, really like. That's just not who I am, typically speaking. So yeah, I don't really have any problem with the people you got now or have had in the recent years.
JR, you were getting ready to say something?
No, I just like the way you worded that because to when you say support our marriage, because to me support is different than respect my marriage. You respect my marriage, that's okay. You respect it. That's kind of a benign word. But when you support it, you actively support my marriage, and that's an action, and that takes, and it takes action, and it takes energy to do that. And it's a conscious thing. It's a choice. So I like the way you worded that because I love Ladine's friends. But early on, I was a little skeptical because all of her friends are single. So I kind of had to take a wait and see approach because I didn't know if a bunch of single people, every one of them, would actively support my marriage. And I've been proven.
Wow, this is interesting. I really had to think about that. Are they all single? Oh my God, they are.
Right.
They still single?
They still single too. I mean, they've been in long-term relationships, but none of them, like not my close friends, not one of my best friends or closest friends are married.
Right. So
That's
it's
another show topic.
Right. And a lot of times only married people will understand this is, the decisions and the things that single people even think about or are conscious of. A lot of times, are completely different than what a married person has to think about. Or the situations you put yourself in or how things may look to your spouse. Single people don't have to think about that shit. So it took me some time to have to wait and see and be like, okay, let me see how these chicks approach this because, and as you put it, do they support my marriage and do they support their friend's marriage? And I have been proven that, it's been proven to me that they're all conscious of, of my marriage and that they're conscious of the fact that their friend is a married woman. So as I put it, I adore a few of them. I love them like sisters. Some of them at times I have to tolerate, just because, but that's some, I had to tolerate my own friends at times. So it's no different. Most of them become like family and, I love to see them when they're here. I miss them when they're gone, and I genuinely care about them. So I love all my wife's friends.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Cute.
I think probably, some kudos probably goes to Ladine as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because some of that is probably about her setting boundaries, right? And being clear about her expectations and what she wants and what, that kind of stuff that, fosters or facilitates some of that support and respect that you feel coming from them.
Yes. Absolutely.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Lay, what you got?
Oh Lord, Pooh, I'm sorry, man.
No. So I mean, I gotta admit, there are some of, and I know Jay has felt like this at times. He probably likes I think that he loves and adores the friends that I've been with for years on end. But there have been some friends that came in between where from the
Well,
moment he met them, he was like, nah.
Well, I was gonna get to that
I
later because I don't consider them friends. But,
Okay,
yeah.
but there are some. So I do love JR's closest friends. The ones that like we all said, I know respect me, respect our marriage. I think they're all pretty decent humans. I definitely have a lot of love for his closest friends. Now, I'm not gonna front, when we first met, or when I first met a couple of them that he might not be as close to now, or even as close to during the time of our marriage. It was like, how is he your friend?
Who you talking
Like
about?
this,
Chad?
no, stop.
I thought we wasn't going to drop names.
Man.
And number two, and then just some people where I'm like, and
Hey, it's my
and there
motherfucking
may
show.
even be-
Right, you're a motherfucker.
And there might even be and there may be even some family members that are like friends too, because I don't think that all family gets to be in the friend category. Period. Because there's plenty of people that just don't fuck with their family, and then there's people that they're not just family but they're friends, and they love and adore each other, and they call each other and they keep up with each other. Because I got plenty of family that I love them. I don't fuck with them no. So he definitely has family members that are like friends too. And even some of them I might have been like, yeah, I don't know. But for the most part, I do love Jay's friends. Cause he don't, how can I explain it? He just don't have a lot of derelict ass motherfucking friends that I can't trust. Where and
She went from, how do I explain it?
Right, to all in. Man. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to explain it.
I mean, so Jay and I, of course, so y'all have been together since y'all were pretty young and in college. Well, JR and I, we got together a little older in life. So we had relationships, pretty longer relationships before we got together. So not in our marriage, but I'm saying, so I have been in a relationship where it's like, who is this derelict motherfucker that is your friend? How are you even friends with them? When you just meet someone and you feel like you could just feel the shade and the like, who are you? Where have you come from? And no, you cannot be my husband's friend. I'm sorry. And no, you're not allowed to come play at the house either. No, not you. So
I've never had a derelict ass friend. Who are you talking about? I don't even know.
Stop. So I don't think I really haven't experienced that completely, maybe to that level, but there are definitely a couple but like Gina was saying,
I mean, I met a couple shady ass niggas when I did the 2 weeks for driving with no license and shit, but I don't know no derelict ass friends I got.
No, I didn't say you did.
I know I'm fucking. Man, I'm trying to be funny. You just fucked up my joke.
I'm stuck on the 2 weeks.
I'm just saying there are some times where I've definitely had to hit a nigga with yeah, I mean, I'm just not feeling him and all of his bitch assness. Like, nah, he gotta go over there. And then some other ones who maybe one that turned up, I thought was one of his closest friends and turned out to be a straight snake. And that bitch ass nigga could go somewhere, but
Now I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I'm saying, like, wow.
But that's about it. I don't really, other than that, I truly do love and I adore the closest people to my husband. I think they don't just support him, but they support the love of family. They honor what friendship is. And I think they're pretty dope humans. So I'm happy to have them in my life. And I'm glad he has them in his. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nah.
So, are there how many of y'all's friends are friends that you've made since y'all were together?
So those are the ones I was gonna get to next. Go ahead.
What era of friends are we talking about here?
So the ones that I said I adore and I love like family are those who I consider those that she has built and forged that relationship with, to that she has a family type relationship with them, and others that have come and gone and come back like bad fungus. They just keep coming back. Others have been kind of shown up since we met or since we've been married, and some of them she's kind of been keen to. Some of them it took her a while. Some of them I just kind of let it play out, because you kind of get feelings about people, and you and when I said earlier that that people tend to like I like how you phrase it, that when people support your marriage, when people don't, and they actively don't, and they're like totally oblivious to the fact that how shit may look, or they just don't give a shit at all, even if they are aware. Like those are the ones that I'm like, you know what? I don't fuck with that one. You do what you want to with them, but don't include me. I'm not supporting that relationship. And we've had these conversations. And there's one in particular who
They've been difficult, and they've been difficult.
Not for me.
I can't stand him, y'all.
I'm being honest. Those conversations are not difficult for me because I don't. It's not like I have to cut anybody off. It's not like I have to adjust my life for people I just don't fuck with, and I never have. There's just a way you do things, and there's an episode of the Cosby Show where when Vanessa.
Go ahead, I want to hear it.
What do you mean? Here I go. You don't fuck with Bill? Okay, well shit.
Yes, God.
No, when Vanessa introduces her secret husband, and she doesn't see anything wrong with it because she's in love and he's a good dude and all that, and Mr. Huxtable has to break it down to her. Cliff has to break it down to her like, look, it's not what you brought in, it's how you brought it in here. So if you came in my kitchen and to my dinner table and you served me a nice steak dinner with all the fixings and a loaded baked potato and everything, with, on all the sides and everything, but you served it to me on a trash can lid, I would have a problem with that. It's not what you brought me, it's how you presented it, right? And so there's a certain friend, and she knows who I'm talking about, is she may come to me now and say, hey, she's awesome, she's the best friend. I don't give a shit, because it's how you presented her and how you presented her to me and how y'all present. So at this point, I had no interest in your steak dinner because you gave it to me on a trash can lid. So a lot of that responsibility falls on you as well as your friend, because at that point, I'm past the point of being interested. So I'll leave it at that.
So is there any redemption, JR?
No, because there have been several opportunities to fix it, and it only got worse. So it's straight middle. It's straight middle. I'm like when that situation shows up, I'm like Tupac. I ain't nothing but spitting at the camera and middle fingers. That's all I am. That's all you see. Yeah.
So in a case like that, Lady, well, JR, like, what is the expectation in terms of, does that person remain in your life? Like,
how do you deal with it?
How do you deal with it? Is the friendship now okay, or is it not? Like,
I mean, so the friendship between her and I is fine. It definitely makes it difficult when whenever I would like to see my friend and I gotta freaking get my husband's nose flaring up, and it's just like, It's ridiculous, but whatever.
Okay,
I don't
so
even.
to give you a sense of how ridiculous it's not. So at one point, you know,
No, I don't want to get into this. I don't want
but
to do this because this is something that, like, in our personal life, this is a conversation that, I mean, it's gotten ugly. There's no
right,
and
but
this is not something I want to go into heavy details with here on the show. I'm not doing it. I'm
but
not.
okay, but it's my motherfucking show too. Um, so you choose to talk about what you not gonna talk about, and I will do the same. But you ain't gonna sit there and call me ridiculous when I got ammo. So here we go. So
No, JR, we're not doing
we're not doing, man. Look, it is what it is. All right. So for instance, and I ain't going into crazy detail. I'm just giving examples. So so it's nothing crazy. But there was a time when, we've all been there in a marriage and in relationships when, you're growing and financially you're not doing as well as you are now. And so there was a point we had one car and, I was the only one working. But there were times when my wife would take the car, go over to this friend's house, get drunk, get wasted, and be driving around wasted and taking this friend all kind of places. They don't have a car, and she's married. And so I had to pretty much say, like, look, I don't give a shit if you go over there or not, but if something happens to this car, we fucked. So if you want to go over there, fine, but you got an Uber. That's my car too, so you're not going to be taking my car and be riding this friend around and drinking and getting wasted while you're over there and coming back at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, and I got to get up and go to work the next day. That's not happening anymore. So stuff like that. I don't know friends of mine, not true friends or true friends of anyone, who would let me do that at their house regularly. So it's stuff like that. Well, just like I lost respect for you, I lost respect for you for that friendship. So that's why I say it's not ridiculous to me. I don't know any person, any married person, especially, who would accept that kind of behavior from a friend who allows you to chill at their house like that and just be reckless. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
So you don't know a family member's house that you've ever gone over to, got drunk, and left there drunk very often. You've never done that before, right? So that means that a sister or a cousin is respecting your marriage when they allow you to get drunk and drive home. Bullshit. I pull your bullshit with that, and I always have, and that's why I don't want to have this conversation.
Okay.
Let's go on to the next one.
For one, so you mean to tell me? Well, for one, I say, yeah, I can agree that, yeah, for me personally, yes. I don't know any family member or friend that I go to on a regularly on a Tuesday, Wednesday, any night every fucking week and get wasted at their house and drive out. That doesn't happen with me.
So, all right. So I guess I got my answer to the question. Like, Ladine, you continue to be friends with this person. And JR, you feel your stance is you prefer her not to be friends with that person, but you kind of like do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, my stance is I'm not in the business of telling people who they can be friends with, but I'm not supporting it either. So if y'all want to be friends, you do it on your own, your own volition. So if she wanna go hang out with you, fine, y'all can find a way to do that. But don't ask me to watch no kids. Don't ask me to hold my time up. Do it on your own time.
Got you.
Yeah.
So Al, what's your take on that? So in a situation, I have a friend or whatever that you don't support the relationship or would prefer me not to be their friend. What is your expectation? Like, is your expectation that I stop being that person's friend, or do you agree with JR, and it's just like, do you? Just don't fuck with me about it.
I do think uh, I have a, I can relate to this idea that I'm not here to tell people, generally, I'm not trying to tell you who your friends are. And that's not me. You grown, I'm grown, and being grown, you get to pick your own friends. Um, the the offense or whatever I have a problem with that friend does matter, So in terms of how much I'm going to express that I don't like that motherfucker. So if it was something that I feel like it was like death penalty, like where I've cut you off, like I'm not fucking with you no more, then I'm probably going to express that. That person's gonna know that. Like I'm really. That's a challenge of mine, just to just kick it around somebody that I don't really fuck with. I don't have a lot of respect for whatever reason. But other than that, I do kind of agree that that's not our job, and to tell somebody squash that friendship. Now, the other side of the coin is now how do you receive it as once you know that the person doesn't want you to fuck with that person, and because I think you should pick your own friends. I don't know if I would expect them or if I would just be like, just because you don't want me to fuck with them, I'm not going to. That's you. I might make a different call. It just depends. So I think my point is that judgment is on you. I don't have no firm rule on that one.
Yeah, I struggle with that. Why you laughing, lady?
Because I love the way you just said that. Yeah, I struggle with that.
I do. Like, while I agree, kind of, right? That of course, everybody has their own choice, right? You make whatever choices. Everybody's grown. You make your choice. I do, however, feel that a spouse has the right to say that friend is not good for you and or our relationship, and I don't want you to be their friend. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that you have the right to say that. Now, can you enforce it? Absolutely not, because everybody grown. Because what you gonna do? Beat my ass and tie me to the bed? Yeah. On the flip side, I also believe that as the person with the friend that is disliked because, and it has to be like very specific, like it's not good for our marriage or you, like not on some old, I don't like the way they dress, I don't like the way they talk. I ain't talking about that kind of dumb bullshit. I mean, like, this is really impacting you negatively or our marriage. Like, I think that person. Yeah, and this is a hard one. This is the part where I'm saying I struggle, right? Like, I struggle in real life. But my gut is saying that you should be willing, I should be willing to give up that person.
I agree.
Situation, like, depending on the situation, it could be hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And there would need, it makes it stronger. Like, I believe in it stronger if I agree with you, right? Like, and I don't mean like, I know I love my friend and I don't want it to be true, but if I searched my heart and my soul and I also believed that this person really is not good for me, or it's really not supporting my marriage, then I should be willing to walk away from that situation. If I don't really believe that, then that's a whole nother story, right? And then, that's a whole other conversation. And I might be like, you know what, fuck you. No, that's not true. That's not what's happening. I don't see it that way. Then that's something different. But if I really can own the fact that this really isn't good, then I think my responsibility as a spouse is to walk away.
But I think that's yes, I agree. I hear you. I still, the harder challenge is always though when the spouse is saying they're bad and you search your soul and you're like, but I don't see that. And, or they're having this negative effect on your life and it's like, I don't see that. And then I still think it's on you. Are you willing to, give it up? But the thing is, if you don't give it up, understand a consequence might be you are risking the relationship with your spouse because you never know.
That gotta be some really real shit.
But I'm just saying, you never know what that it is in terms of going to be the thing that your spouse is like, you know what? It was that day that you refused to do that I said we can't be together.
Or even if it's not that extreme, as in we can't be together, but what is the impact that it's having, right? Because if I can't, and again, everybody has a choice here, right? So I can choose not to let it ruin my relationship, right? But if I am, every time you walk out the house or when you come home, it's just digging the knife deeper into the wound or adding a few more grains of salt, then if it's that kind of situation, ultimately is damaging your relationship with your spouse.
Right.
And so then it's choosing, do I stick with this friend or do I allow that wound to get further injury?
Right. Yeah. And as a married couple, especially when you meet people, your friends become our friends for the most part, to a certain degree. And so, if there is no, especially new friends like that, you kind of have to, because you need that clearance, you need that approval, from your spouse to vet your friends, because they become part of your vetting circle. And when they don't pass inspection, you got to cut bait. It just happens. And I'm conscious of that. I have friends who are single, and just live raunchy ass lives like single dudes. I know I got to cut bait when it comes to being real friends with them because they ain't gonna pass inspection for my wife. So I say this all the time. You show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And, if your friends ain't trying to, if your friends ain't trying to live right on their own regard, fuck you think they looking out for you for? They not.
Fact.
Facts.
Facts. Yeah. That's a hard one. That it really is. Yeah, that's a hard one.
I got nothing.
What?
Of
I
course.
said I got nothing.
I can't believe that.
I can believe it.
Because there's just certain things that you just get tired of arguing about. There's certain things you don't even like when the topic comes up when it comes to conversations like this. And you're just not going to agree on. And you just agree to disagree about it. And that's just how it is. And for me, when I say that I don't like talking about certain things, it's because I just feel like it dredges up, all of the, maybe that's not the right word, but it just brings up all of the shit that came with it. And when I feel like I'm past that already, and I already know his feelings about what it was and what it is, I just don't like talking about that shit or bringing it up because it doesn't make sense to me. It just brings an ugly energy back that I'm not trying to be in. So that's it.
I mean, but it also just happens to be a topic of a podcast you're a part of. So we're just gonna not talk about stuff that we're not comfortable with.
It's your fucking show, and it's your fucking show.
No,
It's your fucking
it's
show
my
too.
fucking show too, right? But I'm saying, I remember meetings before we started this podcast that we were like, hey, some shit is going to be difficult to talk about. But if you're signing up to be a member of this podcast, you're going to have to talk about shit that's difficult. And that's part of this conversation this week. So, sorry.
He's not sorry, y'all.
Sorry, not sorry. You didn't let me finish. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
You know what? Every time I hear that sorry, not sorry, I think of Reggie. Every single time.
That.
Speaking of motherfuckers, no, I'm just speaking of motherfuckers, I don't like no.
I cannot.
Yes.
Oh my God! I probably did that.
It's my motherfucking show.
It's your motherfucking show. It's our motherfucking show.
Right.
Oh my God! Okay.
Oh boy.
So, Lady, if you don't want to talk about it, that's that is what it is. But what I was going to say to that is, Al kind of feels the same way about certain topics that are repeated conversations for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a talker, and he's not. That's just how I communicate. I want to talk about it, and his point is often, why are we talking about it again? It's nothing new. We don't come to a resolution, blah, blah, blah. But I want to keep talking about certain things when they come up, right? Because for me, it's how I process. And even if there's not new information said, depending on the day, time, the mood, the opportunity, all of that, you things differently. You hear it differently. You respond differently. There's some shit you was too angry to listen to the last time you talked about it. Now you saying the same shit. I'm hearing it different now. And that goes for both people. Right? And then the conversation changes too when you go into it with a different attitude. And so if it's something that, so when he comes to me, he's like, and I say something, he's like, I don't talk about shit again. Yeah, it's probably not going to go real well because you already started poo-pooing on it before we even got to talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the idea that I'm not a talker isn't, maybe I'm not a retalker.
Mess up.
I do 2 podcasts, so obviously I don't mind talking.
Yeah, you want to talk about the shit that ain't important.
But what I tend not to do is things that, I move on, I move forward, I advance still. And that's me. We talk about it, I process it. I'm not a reprocessor. I'm not that guy because I'm not trying to get stuck in the mud. I'm trying to take 2 feet, move forward. That's me. And so I don't, that to characterize me as not a talker. I'd rather be referred to as not a retalker. Thank you.
And so the problem for me with that, I just move on kind of attitude is that it's such an inaccurate statement.
Right.
When shit bothers you and when it resurfaces, it's not, you haven't moved on, really. You're just ignoring it. You're not dealing with it. You're I don't know, it's all this other kind of stuff except really moving on. And I'm not saying that's 100%, but, just because you don't talk about it, just because you don't deal with it, doesn't mean that you've moved on from a situation.
The question is, I might be dealing with it. Do I want us to have to deal with it?
Right.
Yes, I might be dealing with it and processing it, but that don't mean I got to bring it to you to make it fuck up your day. I'm handling this and I'm moving forward with it, and I'm processing it and it's gone.
And
But
at
the
the same
idea,
time, I might not want you to bring it to me to fuck up my day. Go ahead.
you were my period and my comma. That's good. I'll leave it right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just of the belief that, when things come to us, or when things are brought to us that fuck up our day, or just we're not comfortable with it, or we're handling it on our own, Sometimes we don't get to do things on our own. Sometimes we are forced to deal with them with the most important person in your life, who's supposed to be that person, or however it's like it don't always follow your schedule, or your plan of how you want to deal with it. So when it comes up, if it's still an issue in your relationship, you deal with it. That's just how I feel. And whether it's a conversation or whether it's a conversation or whether it evolves into an occasional argument, or even if you're not going to see clearly on it, you talk it out and you move on. But it's going to come up if it remains an issue. That's just how it is. And if you've chosen to dig your heels in on your position, be prepared to what comes with that. It just happens. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
It's going to happen sooner or later. Absolutely.
Right. And I agree with this idea that both sides have to engage when the other wants to engage. I'm not going to dispute that. I agree, because that's the dance that we talk about all the time on this show. If your partner wants to dance, you got to dance. But what I'm just advocating for is the other side of that perspective, where somebody danced already and we don't have to dance again. And that's it.
Yeah, that song will come on eventually, though.
And then, so for me, it's not just that, but there are just certain things, especially like this topic, like especially when it comes to JR and and maybe not even just this topic. There are some things that my husband is not going to budge on, and it don't matter what I say, how I say it. Sometimes, I mean, his mind is made up and that's it. And sometimes my mind is made up and that's it. And I really don't want to talk about it because we done been through this how many times already. And so there are also times where I feel like the other party might, it just might be very convenient for them to not budge. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's other times like, why the fuck you keep harping on this? Like, we already had this conversation. I'm not gonna fucking go back and forth with you about this. I don't want to continue to have this conversation. And it's not like I'm not a person for difficult conversations. I do the difficult conversations. I usually bring up these difficult conversations. And I'm not gonna say that my husband doesn't, because there's plenty of conversations that he would bring up that maybe I wouldn't bring up. So, but like Al said, that's the dance, right? But it's just that there are just some things where I don't feel like they're worth continuing about. I don't think that they're worth harping on if we've already been through this and we're both at our stance, and that's it. And and I don't think that things like there are some things that, like, if it's not detrimental, like I'm talking about detrimental to the marriage, like if there's a relationship that's detrimental to the marriage, like, I'm definitely not gonna choose that relationship over my husband. There's no way.
But how do you know? How do you know what is a detrimental relationship to your spouse?
Because you should know, because you're not fucking stupid, and you should know. And if your husband honestly thinks that somebody has that much of or your spouse thinks that somebody has that much of an effect on you, then I think that what they're really questioning is who the fuck you are, not who another person is, who the fuck you are to allow certain behavior to continue.
Well, I'm here.
And
I can ask you.
Where the question comes
but I'm here. I can actually tell you. So.
No, but we're not talking about this conversation.
I'm just saying, like, you're generalizing a specific event. So that's kind of difficult to do when the person you're generalizing is right here. So
okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is, one, we can go back and forth on how you feel about it, how I feel about it, how anybody should feel about it. What the bottom line is, it's there, right? And so when something's there, it's going to come up eventually, especially when you choose to remain in the situation. So it's going to be there. Like Al said, that, like, when it's no running from it, because it's going to remain a topic, because you never, like, you choose not to squash it. I choose not to tell you to squash it. So it's going to remain there. Occasionally it's going to come up. It festers. That's how shit works. Secondly, like, if you choose to remain in that situation on any level, like if you would have chosen not to address it at all, and I've never said you haven't addressed it, you definitely pulled back for whatever reason. I think it's, a lot of it has to do with us. I think a lot of it has to do with the true resources of the friendship itself exposing itself, kind of limiting access, and then also, like, you, even if it's, in the moment, not being able to say, you know what, you was probably kind of right on certain things, you acknowledging, even if it's to yourself, that, you know what, maybe this nigga was kind of right. But
and I think, I think what comes to mind is a word I used last week, I think, and then also a word I suggested as a good topic for a show is sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when you get to the point where, you're not sure or you disagree, I think that's what is required when you are then going to give up that friend or relationship for your spouse. So that's why I really want to delve into it, because I think, and this is just for a future show, y'all, listeners, but I don't know if everybody, I think we are being groomed to sacrifice less and less and less as a society. And I think, I wonder how much of that impacts marriage, where I think there's an orientation where I ain't giving up nothing for nobody. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. And I wonder, do we sacrifice like we should be doing? So I'll just leave it there. Host.
Yeah. Right. But, at the end of the day, like, I respect my wife's ability to make decisions on her own. So, I wouldn't, at the time, as difficult as that time was, I wouldn't expect you to be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do. You addressed it in your own manner. And, I had to adjust to, like, the time frame in which I expected you to address it, and the actuality of which you did. But, at the end of the day, I think you listened to what I was saying, and you respected what I was saying, and not necessarily obeyed me, but you took heed to how I felt about it. So, but all in all, it was an issue. Still remains a
They
smaller
took
issue.
obey out the marriage vows.
Oh, good.
JR.
I'm glad they did.
Obeying going on.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay.
But I think to what Al was saying. One, I think that sacrifice happens on both sides, right? Because there are some things that, and since we're talking about you two specifically right now at this point, there's some things, Jay, that you could sacrifice in this situation, as well as Ladine, right? And so, who's to sacrifice, right? But then just to the other part to what he was saying, I agree as far as like society and, blah, 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 because we are as a society, very selfish. Very selfish. But at the same time, it kind of speaks to a conversation that Al and I were having earlier, which is when the word sacrifice came up. And I shared with him like some of the things that I gave up early in our marriage, to the detriment of myself. I now understand that as a 50-year-old woman. But sometimes people get to the point of, and I'm not speaking for Ladine. I'm not saying that this is her. This is kind of just separate, commenting on what Al commented on. And it did happen to me at one point. And I still feel that way, but I'm healthier and more mature about it. But it's just this idea that, I gave up so much, that I got to the point that I wasn't willing to give up anything else. And so I dug my feet in I dug my feet in and in the wrong ways a lot of the time, but it was just a reaction of, you know what, I'm tired and I'm not giving up anything else. So it's not just the society telling us, we do shit to ourselves. What you, are you on mute?
Mm-hmm. He's
I thought he was
semi-Allen.
saying. I thought he was saying this is my fucking show. Is
That's
that
what I
what
thought
you
he was
said?
saying. This is that's what I thought he
My
was saying.
official first Allen of 2021.
He's
I was
semi-Allen.
saying you using up all the. I said that Sacrifice would be a really good show, and now you're using up all the good material and content. And I mean, I guess we get to say it's a teaser, but you getting real deep and everything, and I'm like, yo, but that's the show.
Fuck is you doing, son? Fuck is you doing? What's happening?
Al, I'm sorry. Everybody just unhear what you just heard.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
my apologies. But anyway. All right, y'all. Any last comments for anybody? But Jay, honestly, I do like that you acknowledged that Ladine did listen to you and she made some changes. May not have been exactly what you wanted or when you wanted it or whatever, but just being able to acknowledge I liked hearing that there was some movement and that you at least felt heard and listened to.
Yeah, it definitely didn't go unaddressed. And so I'll just say this: like, if you have a friend who's that important to you, make sure that you present them in a fashionable way, right? Like, make sure that you do what you need to do to make them look presentable. Like, don't
you don't want to have this kind of issue. You know what I'm saying? You just really don't, especially when you've built a relationship with that person, and not just that person, but let's say their mom, their children, their man, their family. And so it becomes difficult if your spouse doesn't respect just the single relationship alone. And then when a lot of it could be your fault. So whether or not, I may have taken responsibility for what I did, it still didn't, literally, it didn't matter at that point. But there was a point where, like, I didn't realize what my husband was saying. There was also a point where I didn't think that I respected my husband enough to even think that it was something that he was concerned with. And where I didn't respect our marriage enough to be concerned with it. So I think that a lot of that falls into it, when there's turmoil and there's shit happening in the marriage. I think that definitely contributed to the ugliness of what that was. And I don't think I guess that's probably the reason why I don't like talking about it so much, because there was a lot of turmoil. There was so much more to it. It's not like it was just this situation. That situation, was heightened because of everything else that was happening. And just because of where we were at that time. And we're no longer there, and I'm just happy to not be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me finish what I was saying, because you sure talk a lot for a motherfucker who don't want to talk. What I was saying was, in the moment, like, try to think past the moment, regardless of, where you are in your relationship or how you feel about that friend at that moment. Think about the fact that if that's a true friend, they're going to be around for a while. So you have to think past the moment and present them in a fair. Don't set your friend up for failure is basically what I'm saying. So, if that's a person important enough, you want your spouse's approval, do what you got to do to set them up to succeed, because we all have people that sometimes we got to prop them up a little bit and be like, yo, I know this Ned the wino, but I want him to be my friend. And, let's dress him up a little bit and make him presentable. So that's all I'm saying.
I think you leave Ned the wino on the corner.
You a
Hey,
whole mess. In the South.
Ned need friends too, man.
Yeah,
No, okay.
yeah. Remember that Good Times episode?
Yeah,
Where
I
they
know.
tried to pop him up, and then
they
this
tried.
motherfucker died just in their living room. See, sometimes you got to leave them motherfuckers.
No
With a
love
smile
to
on his
Mono.
face. They gave Ned a bottle, and he was like, "Word, I'm Ned again."
I'm just saying.
Oh man.
All right, y'all. Another good show. Thanks for listening. Enjoy y'all crew again tonight. We will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Good night, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go
Like
be
I
you.
thought that was.
Go defy
Yeah, I don't
life.
know either. I'm thinking that was the
Defy
whole
Life movement is
show.
one that speaks
I mean,
to
the
each of
whole
us in
time.
its own way.
I don't know.
Defy Life
Hey, Lay.
here speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.